Michael Blackson is a Ghanaian-Liberian Hollywood actor, philanthropist, and comedian based in the United States of America. He has been featured in a lot of movies and TV series. As part of his work in philanthropy, Michael Blackson has built a school in Ghana and has been commissioned early this year. Listen to what is said about the school and his future plans.
Well, I think education is the key for almost everything. We want to teach our kids about health and staying safe. It starts with education. We want to teach them how to become successful in life. It all starts with education. And I remember when I went back home for the first time since I've been gone, since I was a little, I went back to Africa for the first time since I left Africa. It was 2001. And when I went back, I went to Ghana. And when I went to Ghana, it was a year John Kufuor was just inaugurated, 2001. And I remember watching him on TV. I'm like, okay, this is the latest president. I'm excited about being in Ghana. But then, a lot of things I saw 20 years ago was almost the same as it was when I was a little boy. And
There's no change.
Not too much change. I mean, I wasn't in a big city at that time. When I went back, I had just, I did my little movie Next Friday. I didn't really make no real money. My mother still lived. My mother still had a house in a place called Shama. Shama is like a very, very poor area outside of Accra. And that's because my grandfather owned the house there, and that's where my mother was. That's where I went when I went to Ghana. Instead of going to the hotel, I went there. And then I walk around during the daytime, just checking out things and reminiscing. I remember the gutters. It's always this gutter everywhere. Every kid was traumatized by a gutter.
Yeah.
Gutters are everywhere in Ghana. And I remember them because I remember being traumatized looking into that thing.
That's part of the sewage system.
It is. Yeah. So, and I saw a lot of kids around, just walking around during school hours. I'm like, why are these kids not in school? And then I found out that they can afford to go to school. And there are public schools, which is called government schools, but I think it fills up fast, and then,
everybody goes on the street. There's no place to go.
No place to go. Those kids were out there in the marketplace selling stuff with their mother. You got 6-year-old kids that know how to add already. They're doing math because they know how to give them 5 CDs to buy something. They know to give you 3 CDs back. I'm like, these kids should be in school. They're out here working. And it touched my heart. And then at that time, this was 2001. So I went to the local private school, and I was trying to get an idea what it cost. And at that point, it was about $80 a year. I'm like, $80 a year? I'm like, in the United States, if I'm at the bar, that's like 4 drinks, 3-4 drinks. Yeah. I'm like, I could get people to So I remember going back the next day, and I remember
this was 2001.
2001. And I remember going back, and I saw those kids, and I was like, take me to your mother. I took them to the mother. I said, hey, I heard school is $80 a year. Let me pay for these kids for the next 3 or 4 years. Whatever it is, $1,200, $1,300, if that. When that happened, I said to myself, I have to do something about this. I have to do something. It's too many poor little children walking around with no education. I mean, come on, how are we gonna know about protecting ourselves from sickness without education? Everything starts with an education. And in the Western world where we live, it's free. And the kids don't take advantage of it.
At least the basic education is free here, which is the most important part.
It is. I never thought that education should come with some kind of financial barrier. And it just touched my heart that I have to help the kids out. And it's always been on my mind for 20 years. And then, I
You finally did it.
And I finally did it.
This was a dream for you.
It was a dream for me 20 years ago. And then 3 years ago, I said, okay, I saved some money. My bills are paid. I think I'm good. It's time to
It's the right moment.
This is the right moment.
Yeah. So you just inaugurated the school. What's the name of the school? What do you call it?
It's called Michael Blackson Academy.
The Michael Blackson Academy.
Yes.
And which part of Accra is it?
It's in the central region. It's in a place called Saban, Agona and Saban.
Okay. It's not in Accra. It's outside Accra.
No, way outside Accra. It's like about 2-hour drive away, unless you're driving. If you're a Ghana driver, then you'll get there in an hour and 30 minutes.
Oh my God. So it's out in the rural area.
It's out in the rural area.
Yeah. And that was intentional for you to not put it in the urban areas?
Well, I wanted to go where it's more less fortunate children.
Right.
And the less fortunate children are more in the rural areas.
Right.
So, and then I did it at land. My mother had a land there already. So I'm like, okay, let's tear this old house down. Let's build this school. Let's build a newer house here. And the plan was 3 years ago, and it's all done. It was such a
Amazing.
felt so good. Nothing like starting something and finishing it. Like
See
you
to
said
the
you would.
come to fruition.
Yes.
What is the plan for the school? Are you planning to expand to other regions of Ghana? Also,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you being an ECOWAS kid, you're in
Oh
other
yeah,
West
I have to go
African
around.
countries.
You know, before this is the first one in Ghana. This is my baby here. This is, I'm
Your
totally
prototype.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
This is my personal
Yeah.
baby. I'm
Yeah.
gonna, I'm handling this out of I built up my own money, and I'm gonna fund it with my own money. I did start a nonprofit. I'm like, okay, you guys want me to do more? I need you guys to help. Because
Fundraising.
to
Yeah.
do more. But Liberia is next on my list. I mean, Liberia is like home for me
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
I'm gonna do one in Liberia, then I'm gonna go to Nigeria and potentially do one. Then I'm gonna come back to Ghana and hit a couple more places.
Wow. So education is the thing. Is that
I think
that is
it's
going to be your philanthropic
Definitely.
legacy?
And then because these kids, kids just want hope.
Yeah.
All of that starts with education, man. And I want to give them the opportunity because my school is pretty much starting from, kindergarten to GS3. GS3 is like junior high. It's like ninth grade in America. Because recently in Ghana, the government made, I think, senior high free, if I'm not mistaken. Like 10th, 11th, 12th grade is completely free.
Okay. So you want to bring them to a point where they
don't have to pay anymore.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, let me stop him at a GS3, which is a ninth grade. And then the bigger plan I have in mind is once it reaches this ninth grade, maybe take the top 4 students every year and let them come to America and go to
and connect them to universities here.
Well, it would still be high school. It would be
it would be high school.
It would still be high school, 10th grade.
Gotcha.
So let it come out here to some kind of boarding school. I'm going to try to find a boarding school in America to partner with them to have this 4 smartest kids from my school every year to come here
and continue their studies.
And let us see something different.
Yeah.
And maybe, and the only promise they have to make for me giving them a free education is when you make it, don't forget where you came from.
Yeah.
That most important thing, man. We come out, God bless us, and we forget where we came from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So hopefully that's my plan for those kids.
Yeah.
Now with my school, I had a meeting. It's so crazy how back in 2001, when I went back to Ghana for the first time, the first president I saw on TV was John Kufuor. And I met with this guy about 6 months ago at his house.
Wow.
Right. And I'm telling him about what my plans are. And he said, okay, he gave me a great idea. He said, I would suggest, don't overwhelm yourself. Let the kids grow at your school. Meaning like start them young, like kindergarten, maybe stop at like class 3, and when this one go up, then you get new class. That way you groom them there. Don't start out with like getting a 13, 14-year-old, and you don't know how far they went. Grow the kids
small.
there, small. So that's the plan. So right now I'm kindergarten to like class 3, and then next year I have a class 5, class 4, 5, so forth. So we're in like 4 years actually have a completely full.
So when do kids start school?
It started. We opened the door January 3rd. It started January 10th. It's official.
So they get an education, get a
they
meal
get free
at
education,
school.
free meal, free uniforms, free books. I don't want these kids to pay for nothing. I don't want no excuse to why you cannot be to school. I told them the only thing they have to pay for, pay attention to the teacher.
Thank you for watching. What do you think about our video? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoy this video and want to hear from me again, hit the subscribe button before you go. Thanks for watching.